¿Qué pasa YouTube? What's up everybody? How's it going? Hopefully y'all are having a good Monday today whenever you are watching this. I have for y'all one extremely long but very good Wi-Fi battle I had against Absolute Razo off of my Discord. I do believe he does upload, so if you guys would like to go check him out, his channel link and stuff will be down below. So I'm using this pretty cool team I got off of Harris's Discord. It was based around Kartana, Zimu, Kartana, and Celesteela, I believe. So of course, if you guys do enjoy the lengthy battle, grab your popcorn, grab a drink, grab your dinner, I don't know, sit down, relax, and enjoy the battle. Now, I did speed up some portions of this battle because they're a little bit slow, and you guys will see exactly why and what happens. Now, a little backstory here. It was until like turn 2, or this turn actually, sorry, that I let off with my Lopunny, that I realized that I could not Mega Evolve. I'm not sure why. I think it had to do something with me not completing something in game, but figured out the problem afterwards. So yeah, unfortunately throughout this entire battle, I just have a regular Lopunny, and at the time Discord messages were not working and I didn't know what the issue was, so I didn't want to spend like 30 minutes trying to figure out the problem, and I was just like, you know what, fine, I'll just play with the handicap in this game, I guess, and if anything I can just sack off my Lopunny. So yeah, that's why I didn't Mega Evolve there. So he ended up leading off with the Metagross, as I believe I just faked out to get off like a little 2-3%, as it turns out that he's Rocky Helmet, if I'm not mistaken. As he gets up his own Stealth Rocks, I will be able to get up my own Rocks this turn. If he had the Ice Punch there, that actually would have been a little bit terrifying, so me switching directly into Landers was a bit of a questionable play on my part. I guess the safer play would have been to bring in Celesteela, but I just really wanted to even out the playing fields and just get up Rocks on his side as well, as he ends up bringing in the Crobat here. Crobat is something I don't typically see in the OU tier, so I'm not too sure exactly what it's going to do, as I will be able to bring in Celesteela, which I actually like Shiny Celesteela. I feel like the little whitish gray is a nice touch to it, although I guess at the same time there's not really that much of a difference between regular Celesteela and Shiny Celesteela. I mean, they both look pretty decent in my opinion. So he ends up going for the defog, then I believe he goes for the U-turn on my Heavy Slam into the Porygon 2, which actually does take a respectable chunk of damage from this Heavy Slam, as he's then going to go for the recover, probably just scouting out to see what I wanted to do on the off chance that I did go for another Heavy Slam. But realistically, going for the Leech Seed was probably my better play, because I'm still going to be able to get off at least 12% of damage. I think it's 12%. I'm pretty sure that's how much Leech Seed does to the Pokemon that's Leech Seeded. So I will be able to get off that little bit of chip damage. As in comes the Crobat, I will be able to Leech Seed this as well, because there was really no reason for him to stay in. Really, Porygon 2 can't typically do too much to Celesteela, and even if he's got Thunderbolt, it's still not going to be doing a lot of damage, because I don't think he was a download set and got the special attack boost. So double Leech Seeding there was definitely my best play to catch whatever he comes in. Celesteela, as you guys are going to see, is very difficult for his team to break, and honestly the reason why this battle was so long, but it was still a good game, don't get me wrong. I probably won't use the Celesteela set much again on a Wi-Fi battle, but in this match it just shows why this set is so good, man. Holy crap, this thing was just put in so much work, I'm not gonna lie. So it turns out that he's got the Taunt, and that was something I honestly was not expecting, which was really foolish on my part, considering that Taunt has been a somewhat very common move on Crobat in the past, and just, yeah, that was a little bit of a dumb play on my part. Could have probably just Heavy Slammed there, as I believe I went for the Leech Seed, and then I Flamethrower on his switch into the Porygon 2 on the off chance that maybe for some reason he wanted to hard switch into his Metagross. That way I could catch it with the Flamethrower, maybe 2 or 3 hit KO it as he gets up his Rocks. If not, then it's not that big of a deal, as he allows me to knock off the Eviolite on this Porygon 2. This is actually really huge, because now Porygon 2 is way less bulky than it normally is, and that's going to be amazing for me later in this battle, because me trying to break Porygon 2 is slightly annoying. So he ends up hard switching here directly into his Naganadel, and expecting him to want to go for a nasty plot to try and sweep through my team, because at +2 special attack and with the speed boost, this thing just puts in nothing but the work. I'm going to hard switch into my Scarfed Latios, because I was thinking that as he went for the nasty plot, I would outspeed him next turn and then knock him out with Draco or with Psychic. But no, he goes for the Dragon Pulse, and the fact that he's got Dragon Pulse kind of threw up some warning signs in my head, and it had me thinking that maybe this thing was choice specs, or if anything it could have been like choice scarf, but I would assume choice specs considering that Naganadel is already extremely fast, and after you get a KO you get a speed boost anyways. So now I'm thinking that this thing is no longer a nasty plot set, but most likely a choice set in some way. So I will be able to bring in my Celesteela here, banking on the fact that he's gonna be forced to switch out. I will be able to Elite Seed the incoming Crobat, and because he has revealed the taunt to me earlier, I do expect him to want to go for it this turn, and I'm going to go for the Heavy Slam. I was actually very close to going for the Elite Seed there, but ultimately the better play for me would have been to go for the Heavy Slam in the long run. Unfortunately for him though, I end up getting a crit there. I'm honestly not too sure how crucial that crit was, because I might have still been able to easily 2-hit KO him after the first Heavy Slam and the Leech Seed damage. So I'm pretty sure Celesteela would have been able to still beat this Crobat 1v1, or if anything, it would have made him very low to the point where it would have been knocked out if I kept up offensive pressure. So I'm not sure how much it really ends up mattering in the long run, but I did unfortunately get a crit as down goes the Crobat. In comes his Mega Lopunny, which of course his can Mega Evolve, but I still have a regular Lopunny just kind of sitting in the back, just honestly just being dead weight. But it's fine because again, Celesteela is extremely hard for his team to break through. So I end up hard switching into my Landers here, honestly just wanting to get off the little bit of Rocky Helmet chip damage, and then I'm going to make another risky play and get up my rocks. Then again, because he had Fire Punch, I was thinking he probably doesn't have Ice Punch, so I did kind of feel a little bit comfortable in staying in and not risking him having the Ice Punch. Well, I guess I did risk it, but what I'm trying to say is that I thought he wouldn't have it because he had the Fire Punch essentially. So I am able to get on my rocks. In comes the Porygon 2. I don't want to take any hit from this thing, and I don't want my Landers to be worn down too much because I still need Landers to chip down his Lopunny and potentially chip down his Metagross if it really comes down to it. So I will be able to switch in here to my Max Spadef, Max HP Toxapex. The original version of this team I think had a mixed defensive Toxapex, but I like purely Spadef bulky, mainly for Naganadel. So yeah, that's why in this version it's the Spadef bulky set, but I'll probably leave the pace bin of the regular team with the mix set. Either way though, it's not that big of an issue, as he ends up getting a burn with the Tri-Attack. Honestly, that's not really that bad. Like, I would much rather be burned than I guess paralyzed, because paralyzed, being fully paralyzed later in the match could potentially screw my Toxapex over if I'm in a dire scenario and I need to go for recover. At least by him getting the burn on me, it's kind of nullified by leftovers, and I still have regenerators, so it's not really that big of an issue. Actually, if he had got the freeze, that would have been best case scenario, because then I could have just unthawed and hit him with the Scald. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not getting any burns with my Scalds here, man. Like, this is a little bit annoying considering the fact that if I got the burn on this Naganadel along with Stealth Rocks, this thing would have been a lot more manageable. But expecting him to go for a Specs Draco Meteor, I switch into my Celesteela as he makes a great play here, predicts that, and goes for the Flamethrower. And this is why Flamethrower sometimes just really sucks, because again, Celesteela was incredibly difficult for his team to break, but now that he's got this huge hit on me, it's a lot easier for his team to deal with it. But at the same time, if he had Fire Blast, he definitely would have just straight O-code Celesteela. But then again, he would risk missing Fire Blast, and I've missed my fair share of Fire Blasts before. So yeah, it does kind of suck that sometimes you're forced to run Flamethrower just so you don't miss, but just the lack of power, man, is really obvious. So he ends up bringing in his Lycanroc Dusk form, I believe this is called, and he's gonna end up going for Lycanroc's new signature Z move, which is actually pretty cool. I actually really like this animation personally, and he's gonna hit up my Landers here, unfortunately doing a really good amount of damage. I was honestly more scared of him going for a Swords Dance, or well, no, yeah, because he had no reason to go for Swords Dance. What am I talking about? Because my Celesteela was so low, and if I had protected, then the Z move still would have gone through protect, and he might have still knocked me out. So yeah, there's really no reason for him to Swords Dance. I don't know why I mentioned that. I guess I forgot the amount of HP Celesteela was at, but I believe it's around like 30-ish%. So unfortunately, he did end up missing the Stone Edge there. Now, if he had got a very low roll, I actually barely lived the Stone Edge, but if he had got a close to min to high roll, he would have knocked me out. So yeah, I had a chance to live, kind of sucks that he missed there, as I will be able to bring in my Toxapex here on this Mega Lopunny with this return doing absolutely nothing to me. This is excellent because now I could easily stay in here, go for the Scald, I can go for the knockoff. I could also potentially pull a double switch, expecting him to just make the safe switch back into his Porygon 2, because if anything, he would most likely want his Porygon 2 to be burned as opposed to his Naganadel, because again, Naganadel is extremely terrifying in this matchup, and I do finally get a burn on this Porygon 2, which is excellent because now I will be able to get that 6% extra chip damage every single turn on top of the Stealth Rock's 12% every time. So that's excellent, and again, Porygon 2 would have been a little bit annoying for this team to deal with because I don't have Mega Lopunny, I only have regular Lopunny again. So I end up switching here into my Celesteela. I'm going to speed this portion up because realistically it's just me trying to stay in and gain back as much HP as possible on my Celesteela. If I can get Celesteela back up to about like 70-ish%, then I can protect every other turn comfortably and be gaining 12% HP every turn. So in that sense, Celesteela being brought back up to a high amount of HP will make it more valuable again and a big issue for him to once again deal with. And again, this is where if he had Fire Blast and he had knocked me out, then I probably would have been in an absolutely terrible scenario. Celesteela is literally the only reason I am still in this battle. Celesteela is the glue that is holding my team together at this point and not allowing for me to get absolutely destroyed by not only this Naganadel but by also the Mega Lopunny, considering that my Landorus is now on such low HP. So I make the safe switch back into my Toxapex. Even if he had gone for a Specs Draco Meteor, I am max Spadef, max HP, so I definitely would have been able to live. And then the following turn, if I would have probably run the calc and seen if I could have lived or not. But if I didn't live, I would have switched. If I would have lived, I would have just gone for Recover. So he ended up going for the Flamethrower. This turn I'm going to double out into my Kartana, expecting him to want to bring back in the Porygon 2, but he actually brings in the Metagross, and that is slightly annoying because I don't have knockoff on this Kartana set. It's SD, 3 attacks without knockoff. So I'm going to switch back into my Celesteela, just expecting him to want to go for the Stealth Rocks on the off chance that he did stay in. If I had knockoff, that actually would have been really great. I most likely would have gone for the Swords Dance that turn, and then he has no real safe switch into a +2 Kartana. So yeah, that does kind of suck. But the great thing about this is that my Celesteela again is slowly but surely gaining back all of its HP and being brought back up to almost full HP, to the point where my Celesteela could possibly take on the Mega Lopunny along with the Naganadel just by itself, because I am more of a physically defensive set. The Mega Lopunny shouldn't be doing entirely too much damage to me on the physical side, and then we already saw that I was able to live a Specs Flamethrower, and at this point I don't think he has Fire Blast as well because he went for the Flamethrower again earlier. So if it really comes down to it, my Celesteela may be able to take on the combination of Mega Lopunny and Naganadel, which is really nice. So I'm finally able to get rid of the damn Porygon 2, as in comes the Mega Lopunny. As much as it pains me to do this, I have to go for the Protect. I know I've been protecting so much with Celesteela here, but again, it's the glue. I lose this, I essentially just lose the battle to his offensive core that he's got left. So I needed to protect there to ensure that I could be at as much HP as possible, as he then over predicts and goes for the return, as I'm going to be able to hit him up with a Heavy Slam, but he lives on like 1%. I don't know if that was a low or high roll, but him living actually kind of annoyed me a little bit. But I guess the good thing about it is that I have my Landorus in the back, and I can just sack that off to force him to get knocked out by the Rocky Helmet. So this is where him missing Stone Edge really did matter, because even if he had got a low roll and I did live, I still would have been knocked out by Stealth Rocks. But I guess in that sense, I could have brought in my Toxapex after sacking off my Landorus, because Toxapex, we already saw, can deal with his Lopunny as well, and then return doesn't do entirely too much damage. Plus, yeah, I have Lopunny too, so I could have just brought in Lopunny after sacking off Landorus and gone for the Fake Out to ensure the KO on his Mega Lopunny, because he was in range of Stealth Rocks anyways. So yeah, I don't know, I guess it wasn't game changing, but it still did kind of suck. As in comes the Metagross, I bring in my Lopunny, honestly just as death fodder. I'm just gonna Fake Out, high jump kick, try to get off as much damage as I can, which is pretty good damage. Like, I'm able to bring it down to about 65-ish% as he ends up getting an attack boost, but honestly, that's not that problematic considering that I do still have my Celesteela. Celesteela can easily just flamethrower this Metagross twice, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be carrying the Thunder Punch because that is not a move I have typically seen on Metagross in the past, as I end up going for the flamethrower, and I was kind of kicking myself for making this play. Like, I thought about going for the Leech Seed, I really did, but honestly in the end I felt like flamethrower was my better play. It was my more aggressive play, and then by going for the flamethrower I would have been able to beat Metagross faster than I would have been able to if I had gone for the Leech Seed there. But obviously in this scenario, Leech Seeding Naganadel would have been really nice. So I'm able to protect, see what he wants to lock himself into, and then I can make the appropriate switch out here, as I will be able to bring in my Toxapex. Again, he's just going for flamethrower, so further confirming the fact that he does not have the Fire Blast, as he does end up attacking my Toxapex for, I guess, like a decent 5-10-ish%. But this is not a really good spot for my opponent to be in, because I can just click Scald here, and even if I don't do a lot of damage to the Metagross or the Naganadel, every little bit of chip damage with the Scald and with rocks and me possibly burning them is going to ultimately help me out in the long run of the battle. So he ends up switching here back into his Metagross. That is not that bad, considering that of course I still have my Celesteela in the back, which at this point I'm very convinced can 100% beat the Metagross for sure, and as long as I don't get below about 70-ish%, I should be able to beat this Naganadel as well. So I ended up switching into my Kartana here. I believe I expected him to want to go for a Zen Headbutt, so by bringing in my Kartana, I might have been able to go for a Sacred Sword to knock out the Metagross, or maybe pop my Z move. I'm not sure if the Z move would have done more damage. I had the Bloom Doom. I know it's resisted, but I don't know, it's still stabbed, and it is a Z move, of course. So he ends up flamethrowing my Kartana, crits me. That's enough to like murder Kartana 10 times over, I feel like. So I am gonna bring back in my Toxapex here. Much like earlier, I can just safely go for the Scald. I lose absolutely nothing in doing so. Eventually, the combination of Celesteela and Toxapex will be able to beat the combination of Metagross and Naganadel at this point in the battle. So in comes the Metagross. I do end up getting a crit, but I don't think that crit really ends up mattering entirely too much, as I will be able to bring in my Celesteela here, and as you can see there, Zen Headbutt does 0 to me. I can honestly protect this next turn and not have to be worried about anything that could potentially happen later in this match. So he's gonna end up going for the Meteor Mash. I think he actually just got another attack boost there, but I will be able to knock him out with the Flamethrower. At this point, his Naganadel is in range of where Stealth Rocks will knock him out, so that is going to be the 2-0 victory in my favor. So holy crap, this battle was 53 turns long, guys. If you stuck through this whole thing, please let me know. I think like maybe half of you just tuned out like halfway through the battle, considering that the main reason this game was so long was because I was protecting and leech seeding with Celesteela, but I had to do that, man. Like, if I lost Celesteela with me not having Mega Lopunny in the back, then again, I've said this in the narration, obviously, the combination of Naganadel and Mega Lop would have just absolutely blown me back. So yeah, Celesteela, the real MVP of this battle. And again, I really think its shiny is pretty awesome. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to hammer arm that like button down below to answer the comments question of the day. And with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow with a I don't know why I said less, with a shorter battle. So later, guys.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot